I think artificial intelligence in business is a long term game. Thinking long term in anything has become really hard in 2024. And this is a video that's bold faced about advocating taking chances and being adventurous and thinking long term to do something big versus just trying to hang on to your cushy job and survive. Over the course of my life, it feels like everybody thinks shorter and shorter term about everything: politics and public policy, just talking to people, planning their lives. And in business, this is very vividly true as well. Probably the most painful for really large companies that are publicly traded and need to show something to Wall Street every quarter. A really big organization can take a quarter to blink in a new way. And this is really not anybody's fault. We don't often say these things out loud, but that's the reality. So it's hard. It's hard to think long term. It's very interesting to follow conversation in finance adjacent to AI. Everybody can see the potential in AI. People are spending a lot of money on AI right now, and that's great for some companies. There's some skepticism out there about AI from the Wall Street crowd about, is this for real or is this another weird bubble? There's this great graph, I think Gartner puts it out, about the trough of disillusionment. And parallel to these conversations about Wall Street, we've had a wave of hype where everybody was super excited about generative AI and a lot of people are doing things. And I can see you all out there starting to be more open that it's not always going well. It's not always well posed. It's not always appropriate to your business. It's not always super clear why you are doing these things other than to say that you're doing generative AI. We don't often talk about these things, but they're out there. You're not the only one. I think it's really the wrong question to look at this current wave of hype about AI and ask, is AI for real? AI has always been a really boom and bust operation. And it's exactly because the promise is so obvious that any taste gets people moving. In the long term, it is very for real. And people and companies that are able to think long term about AI are going to have huge rewards. And at some point, people that fail to do that are going to have a really bad time. If you focus on this wave right now, that might not turn out to be a bucket of warm spit to judge, is AI for real or not. AI has always been a roller coaster. I would expect one way or another that the road to AI being really important in business in a permanent, durable way is going to be rocky. We've already had 2 AI winters over the years. It's not going to be smooth. This current phase of hype is not going to be the final phase of hype. The current phase of disillusionment is not going to be the final phase of disillusionment. It's really a long-term thing, and the big rewards at the end are going to be for people that think long-term. I'd like to be very specific, and I hope maybe some of you will feel like I'm appealing to you. If you're in a large organization, it's going to be tough and be a risk for you to try to do this. If you're just trying to hang on to your cushy job that you like and just go about your life, it doesn't really make sense to try to step on the gas pedal and communicate and try to improve your organization's approach to think about this long term. To think about, it's hot now, it might not be hot in a while, we need a plan to get around that. If you were the kind of person that did this, that moment when we're really definitively going into the trough of disillusionment is a time when you have to try to argue that it's important to maintain momentum. It's a long-term game. There really is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And that's a risk. That's a career risk. That's a personal risk. It's probably not going to be a good time. And once again, it's about living in a short-term world and trying to see a long-term opportunity. Whoever you are watching this video, are you a bigwig who can really make something happen? Maybe you are really the person that needs to be thinking about, I'm the one with courage to get the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Do you feel like you're a person of adventure? Somebody that's willing to take risks? Somebody that likes to chase a rainbow to a pot of gold? Or search your heart, is it really not about getting fired and just going with the flow of tech trends coming and going? And speaking about myself, I don't know why I grow like this, but I personally just feel called in my bones to point out these long-term things about where business technology is heading, where it fits into the broader narrative about the economy and our society. So if you're in one or more of these three categories, I exhort you to try to step on the gas pedal in your organization about thinking long term about AI. Think about, how are we going to survive the trough of disillusionment with our long term orientation? What might the next part of the roller coaster be like as it impacts my organization? Because I think somebody out there that ticks a few of these three boxes is going to get it right. And it's further down the road than people think, but the pot of gold is really there. And that's a really exciting journey to go on if you're the right person. And I invite you to think about whether you are.